characters in the game, so hopefully we'll be going over that.
We will. Because I mean, most of the people that are gonna be there have never played it before. Also, we were muted. So welcome, happy Monday. I forgot.
Happy Monday! Long time no see.
Yes. So we're waiting on a couple people. And while we're waiting, you, dear viewer, if there is any dear viewers, should check out our Extra Life team page, which is again kind of the whole thing here. That's the reason this channel began to exist, is for fundraising for Extra Life. Extra Life is a part of the Children's Miracle Network, in which we get to play games and raise money for kids' care. And so everyone in this group that is fundraising right now, everyone that's here right now, is raising for Boston Children's Hospital. And every cent you donate goes straight to the hospital. It doesn't go to executives. It doesn't come to us. None of that stuff. So that's a great way to help provide needed supplies, provide entertainment, so that the kids can be kids while they're at the hospital. So I would encourage you to go check that out while we're waiting to get started here. But
shameless plug: if you donate to me, I will be matching up to the first $500.
Oh, hey, look at that! I'm gonna try to crack in on getting some of that. I want what I want to do next year, and I was hoping to do it this year, but I didn't get around to it in time. Is I want to kind of reach out to game stores in the areas that we are fundraising for, and see if we can get some sponsors that will match donations.
That would be nice.
Oh, I passed by that game shop in Pepperell where Grizz bought his dice. I was driving up to Nashua, and I was like, oh, that's the game place in Pepperell.
It's not super easy to see.
Nope.
But this is a nice little shop.
I didn't go in, though. We were doing something in Nashua. I don't remember.
But yeah, on Sunday, most of the people there, I think you actually will be the only person that has had any experience with Paleomythic, other than me.
Any experience with what?
Paleomythic.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we'll be going over how to build characters, and we'll be explaining the setting and kind of the themes of the story and everything, and we'll work through people's expectations and everything, and sort all that stuff out on Sunday. I do have one copy of the book, and like I said, there is a player's guide that's written for this campaign that will be in your binder. But yeah, if you wanted to get a book, now I will tell you, if you do get a book, I don't think they arrive super fast. Amazon might be different. I bought it off their website.
Yeah, I was just going to buy it off of Amazon. I can get it for it's $15 for the Kindle version and $32 for the physical. I might actually get the physical.
It says it is eligible for Prime, so it would show up on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So yeah, I bought it from their store, and so it came from England, and so it took a little bit longer. Speaking of, what's currently in the cart is a box of those Tato chips, which I have not ordered, but I want to.
Oh, look, it's a person.
Howdy.
Hey, Tango.
Hello. Apologize for the delay.
I have Amazon reward points.
Nice.
Nice.
So I can get the book for free.
Awesome. I think I have enough Amazon reward points to get these chips for free, actually.
Babe.
They're so good.
I know.
And you can't get them here.
I know.
They're made in sunflower oil.
Oh.
That's not why they're.
You'll arrive on Wednesday. We need to have a whole bunch of D6 for
We have.
Helium
It is
Mythic.
all D6.
We have
yeah.
like 5 pounds of D6s.
Well, I don't know if that's that, but here, I'll see.
We have so many D6s.
I mean, I have a bunch of non-matching D6s with all of my dice sets. But how you doing, Tango?
Fucking allergies are killing me. How y'all doing?
Happy Monday.
Yeah, obviously people are welcome to bring their own dice, but these are not all D6s. These are our D4s through D12s, but there is a disproportionately large number of D6s in here. Some of which were our party favors for our wedding.
Have your name on it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, I don't know if you can read that on stream.
Yeah, you see a little script there. Pretty cool.
Yeah, but
you might need to take a shot of it and just post it on Discord at some point.
I think what I need to do is like that, maybe?
No, it's still not
No,
working.
it still doesn't work.
No. Oh,
well. Still got your bookcase in back.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but it has like a little heart logo and it says our names and the date of our wedding, and we get like.
So what is the value of that? Is it a 1, a 6?
It's a 1.
That's a 1, yeah. But yeah, there's a lot.
You should have said priceless. That I totally set you up. You could have said it's priceless.
I'm safe though because Carol answered first. But yeah, we got there's a bunch of those in here. Because we had more than the number of people who showed up to our wedding. And that's a D20. That doesn't go in here. That's a D. Whoa.
Oh, now he's distracted.
Yep. I'm spend the rest of the night sorting the dice.
No.
Did Skippy say he was gonna show up today?
I haven't
Why there
seen anything from him. Because you let the kids play with them.
I didn't let them play with the D20s. I think it was I think we had to play some adults for this one. I don't know which adults though.
Oh, speaking of Extra Life,
yes. Oh, I didn't check if everybody filled out the form yet.
That is the first weekend in
November.
It's
All
like
right.
with the 3rd or the 4th.
Yeah.
4th and 5th.
4th and 5th, yeah. And we are currently, I think this, or maybe in just a couple of days, is the anniversary of us reaching affiliate, because it happened during Extra Life last year, which we did on the first weekend in October.
Yes, because I was your first subscriber.
Yep.
Which I hit my 11-month sub anniversary.
Nice.
That's 7 D20s.
Yeah, we need to have a number, like a firm number for this, because I got to figure out what I'm gonna get for attendee favors this year.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I don't. I should actually check that real quick. But yeah, for those of you watching, this is the thing that we do every year. Is we have an Extra Life game day event, which is we've been doing it as 2 12-hour events.
Yeah, which one are you gonna do? You're gonna do both of them now. Is that right?
What do you mean?
You're gonna lead them both. Like you're doing a 24 hours of gaming.
Yeah, well, that's every year. It is a 24-hour event. Every year, but we have been the last few years we've been splitting it up into Two
Right, it's
12-hour
like
events.
it said like there's 2 games, so it'd be the
No.
Star Trek and this one.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
It's 24
No,
hours of one game.
It's going to be Mutants and Masterminds.
Mm-hmm.
Where did I put the link to that?
So, Chris, if you're wondering where Tim lives about 15 minutes away from my house.
Right.
What direction?
North. No. South.
It's not south.
It's definitely not south.
No, exactly opposite of what you thought.
Well, I have to head southwest.
For a bit.
I'm about
For a
third
bit to your house. But they're a little bit.
But
west
roads
of
out
me.
here, you have to go like north to get east.
Yeah. But they're not that far away from my
I've
house.
only had
And you
two
know
responses.
how long it.
On what?
I've only had 2 responses on the thing asking for everyone to tell us whether or not they're taking part.
I was one of them.
What thing?
The form that I posted in the Discord asking people to help us finalize plans for Extra Life.
Did you post it in the Extra Life server
I posted it
or
in...
channel?
No, I posted
Yes.
announcements and tagged everyone.
Oh. I did what I was supposed to do.
That's true. You and Chris filled it out. And
did
no
I?
one else.
I know I looked at it.
No,
I thought-
no. No.
Kateri?
Yeah. Yeah, Chris,
Bottle
who
guy?
goes by Chris on stream.
Thank God. Okay.
Chris, my buddy from Buffalo, who you've met.
Oh yeah.
Tango.
Man. He's a good guy.
But he's not coming into town. He's going to be streaming, I think.
Yeah.
2 years in a row, that slacker. I've already
Yes.
put in my vacation time, so.
Okay, I did it. Not that I needed to, because you already know all my answers.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah.
And I don't think Skippy's coming.
Getting that impression.
Yeah. Well, what with the baby?
Pshaw. We already told him that he could stay at my house.
I don't think that it's a staying
So you're-
that's an issue.
Your form, when I said I'm not going, still put me into the in-person players.
Well, that's just because it's a Google form and I don't have a way to program that. But it says that none of those answers are required.
Ah, yes. I skipped it. So, to check in on this, then, it said I could donate money to the Children's Network, Miracle Network, or participate, but it looked like almost everybody who, was it like Wizards of the West Coast has like 8,000 people joining or something, or top people doing this?
Wait, what?
I thought there was like a team that was like, looks like it kicked everybody's ass in the Extra Life, like the,
okay.
the donation.
Yeah, so
There's like a team of like 8,000 people.
yeah, so Extra Life is a part of Children's Miracle Network, and it's nationwide. I think it also includes Canada. So U.S. and Canada. So there's like thousands of people who do it every year, who participate every year, across the whole country. We have and then there's various teams. Our team is called Rabbit Haberdashery. and we rarely rank above like 500th. I think maybe 800th even. I think 500th might be slightly optimistic.
No, it was the Magic the Gathering.
Okay. Our overall team rank right now is 497th. So
Nice, you made it.
That's about as high as I think we've ever been.
Yeah, and it'll go down on game day.
Yeah, because what happens on game day is most people do 24 hours straight through that Saturday, and a lot of people get a lot more donations than we do, and so the team rank reflects that pretty quickly. I mean, we try obviously, but I mean, there's people in the Boston Guild because there's teams and then there's guilds and they're a different system. Boston Guild is basically everybody who's raising for Boston Children's Hospital, and I think like there are people in the guild that are already at something like $3,000-4,000 just by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of friends I need. You know? You're out there listening, people. Come be our friends and give us $4,000.
Yeah. For the kids.
Yeah. We don't see any of that. Yeah. But yeah, no, we I mean we and I do I'm in the guild. I'm in the I do actually see like I do talk to some of these people about how they do their fundraising and stuff like that. And it's the Boston Guild actually has its own Discord server.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's where we talk and we have guild meetings once a month and we have all this other stuff. And it's pretty cool. But yeah, there are definitely some people who who raise, thousands or tens of thousands of dollars every year. And part of that is Extra Life United. So plug for that, which I don't think I've ever really plugged before. But what they do is Children's Miracle Network has an annual event where they historically it's been in Florida. I want to say at Universal Studios Florida Park or one of those parks right around Disney and Orlando and that stuff. One of those parks. They have a big. They do kind of their annual meeting and talk about their goals for the year and how much they've raised for hospitals and stuff like that. But they also do Extra Life United at that event. And Extra Life United is people who are Extra Lifers from all over the nation go there and they play games in competition. And sponsors give like the top 3 winners of each game a bunch of donation money. It goes to like their hospital through their page. And so, if you do really well at like 1 or 2 games, you can get a solid like $2,000 to $10,000 that weekend done. There was somebody on our team who was part of there was a team for Boston that was doing a Minecraft build competition last year where they actually built this whole like map because it was this year is 15th anniversary of Extra Life, and so they were celebrating the 15th anniversary as part of the thing. And so they had this whole thing that was kind of like a retrospective on the history of Extra Life built in Minecraft. And one part of it was a scale model of a hospital room from Boston Children's Hospital. And so you're on this little mine cart going over like the bed and everything. And it was cool. I think they came in 3rd place. But it was like, there's all kinds of cool stuff that they do. Normally, it's in Florida and like, I think early summer. But I think this year 2024, they're planning to do it in spring. And I think they might have moved it out west. For some reason. But yeah, there's all kinds of cool stuff with it. and then there's oh yeah, okay, yeah. Extra Life United is going to be July 18th to 21st. It's going to be in June 2024. I was wrong about that. But it looks like it might be in Utah for some reason. I don't know why they moved it.
Well, probably because it'll be.
Oh yeah, it might have something to do
Cautious.
with. It might have something to do with Florida law.
That's the new game show or the new live TV series, Florida Law,
Yeah.
where nothing is. There are no laws. It's Florida law.
Nope, Kansas City. It's gonna be in Kansas City. It was the
Which
Utah.
one?
The Extra Life United is going to be in Kansas City, July 18th through
Oh,
21st.
isn't there two Kansas cities?
Oh, it's Kansas City, Missouri.
Another state I have no desire to step foot in.
But yeah, it's probably. I mean, they obviously Extra Life. A lot of people who play for Extra Life and or would be interested in going there or involved or whatever are kind of legally not allowed in Florida right now, or not safe in Florida. So that's probably why they moved it, but they haven't said why. But yeah, anyway, so that's coming up. That'll be June of 2024. Extra Life United, big event. I've never done it. I've never had.
I've always wanted to.
I've liked the idea of participating, but I've never had any interest in going to Florida. So
Yeah.
Kansas City, maybe. Maybe we'll be able to swing going to Extra Life United this year.
Yeah.
That'd be wild. Unless they have a tabletop gaming competition, though, I'm not gonna compete.
Yeah.
I mean, you put me in a room to compete with anyone on any video game, and I'm not. It's not gonna go well for me.
Even Tetris?
I am okay at Tetris. I think Tetris is near the top of what I'm good at, and I'm not great. I used to play it a lot, but yeah, I don't have the speed. So once it starts getting kind of fast, I crash and burn pretty quick. But that's also part that speed with the coordination on the keyboard is what gets me for shooters and stuff like that as well. Obviously, that.
I want to get like the sphere for you to go into to play.
Yeah.
360.
Yeah.
But somebody's gonna rent that out also. Like somebody's gonna be like, I want to rent that out and like go there. Is that movie that with guy lived in a dome?
Biodome? Or are you talking about
No,
are you talking about the lawnmower man? The sphere? Oh.
Bubble Boy?
The Truman
the one
Show.
where he was the Truman Show.
Oh, okay.
That's exactly what I thought of when I saw that sphere the first time. It was like, yeah, an immersive screen all the way around. And I was like, oh, Truman Show.
Fair. But yeah, no, yeah, there is definitely one team that is just dominating.
There's like the Magic the Gathering. It's like the people who make Magic. Actually, I think it's like.
Yeah, there's because you have corporate teams, and then you have like.
Yep.
And those get a lot of money, and then like just kind of the. Yeah, teams that like there's actually a Chicago team, there's actually a Boston team that's just like there's the I think there's a team for employees of Boston Children's Hospital, and then there's a team for like that just is anyone in our guild, anyone who raises for Boston that doesn't want to join or doesn't have another team or whatever, can just join that team, and that one usually does pretty decent. But yeah, because you see, Extra Life Edmonton is just a team for anyone raising for Edmonton, British Columbia, I think, and that one's 8th place. So, but there is, my God, I haven't looked at these standings in a long time. That is a big jump from first to second place. The Magic the Gathering team has $304,000 raised so far. Second place team, $72,000. That's an enormous jump. Oh, yeah, and then we're in space 495. So
Wizard of the
Hey, what
Coast
up
is like, oh crap, we need to somehow recover from that whole OGL thing.
Good luck.
How can we improve our image?
Yeah. Well, it was crazy because there was a point very early in the year. I think okay. Real in actuality, we've ranked as high as like 25th, but that was because at the time I think there was 30 teams. Like it was like January 2nd, because it resets every year. Like January 2nd, we were something like 25th or whatever. But at the time when that was happening, the first place team already had something like 15,000, and then I clicked into it. I was like, "What is going on with this team?" And I checked their roster, and it was one person, and it's just that one person had raised a ton of money. And I was like, "What the crap?" So I'm kind of surprised I don't see that team up here anymore. But yeah, this is a corporate team, so I think the Magic the Gathering won. But yeah, so we encourage people to like go to and donate to ours, and there's a competitive aspect to it. I suppose I never really highlight because I don't think about it in that way, but there is a competitive aspect to it. You could help us rise through the ranks of the various teams that are raising money. And they have rewards. They've got a thing this summer, a dice box for raising a certain amount of money in Tabletop Appreciation Weekend.
Yeah. They also, let's see, last year they also...
Oh yeah, and I got this.
Did the dice tray.
I got that.
Birdie. Nice.
It's my mouse pad, which I didn't think I'd use it because I haven't actually used a mouse pad in something like 15 years.
There's the hex vault. I did a little crafty thing and I put a epoxy inlay into it.
Yeah, because it didn't come with the blue lettering.
Nope.
It just came with the engraved lettering.
I kind of screwed up the back.
Oh.
Yep, I sanded a little bit too hard.
Aw.
But yeah, no, the whole thing is pretty cool, and like we said, it is gonna be 2 12-hour events, 2 12-hour days, all one game the whole way through. And last year we did Star Trek. 2 years ago we did In Memoriam. We're doing In Memoriam, which is Mutants and Masterminds again this year. And we've done a handful of games. I wish that I knew at the time though that Twitch doesn't save videos for like Twitch only saves videos for like 2 weeks, And I didn't know that, and I was only streaming once a year when I first made this channel. And so when I was like, oh man, that first year was great, I should go back and see if I can get that video. It was long gone.
Mm-hmm.
But that first year was pretty wild.
It was awesome.
It was a Scion campaign, which is a... are you familiar with Scion? Have you heard of it? That's it?
Nope.
It's a game in which you play a demigod in the modern day. So... that guy is a son of Thor. The character on the cover is the son of Thor.
Thor got around, I gotta tell you. Thor was a little bit of a,
Oh yeah,
he got around.
I mean, a number of gods did. In this game, it kind of assumes that almost all of them did. It does have room for like the virgin goddesses adopt demigods who were left unclaimed, because like it'll say like Ares doesn't even know about half the kids he's parented, and so Athena will just come in and like adopt some of them, and so they become Athena's demigod kids, but like they're not. She still remains a virgin goddess, but otherwise, yeah, a lot of them get around a lot. But we played that, and
do you go the entire like scene? Do you go from like start to finish over 2 days, or is this like you pick it up and then go on and then?
So historically,
it keeps going between the year.
Historically, the game was a one-shot. I would write a 24-hour one-shot, and that was what we would play. And so that's what we did for Scion. It was one story that we did just for Extra Life, where we began the story at the beginning of Extra Life, we ended it at the end, and it was that story had as a premise that the Lovecraftian elder gods were a pantheon that had been locked away by the other pantheons. And the story of the campaign was that they were waking up, and we were supposed to stop them from waking up. And so it was really fun, and I did a lot of research to make it feel like a Lovecraftian story. And I had Lovecraft as a character that was in the world that the other characters could interact with, and it was meant to be just like a little Easter egg that they could find and maybe have one conversation with him. But then they went to Rhode Island and picked him up and just dragged him along with them. But yeah, what ended up happening was that was what I did every year. Was I would come up with a one-shot campaign, and that was what we would do for Extra Life. And then when 2 years ago we were doing In Memoriam, we were just playing In Memoriam as just a group. We weren't streaming it. We weren't, it was just, hey, we got together and wanted to do a game. And so we were playing Mutants Masterminds in this game that I had designed called In Memoriam, and we were playing it, and we were coming up on game day, and we decided, hey, let's just do that. Let's just do a story within, because there was an online group and an offline group, and they were both playing. I had designed the game, and they were both playing the same game but in different worlds. And so what we did for Extra Life was we did a crossover event 2 years ago, where both groups ended up meeting each other in a multi-dimensional game story that was happening, and then we just kind of kept going from there. And so last year, Star Trek was set up as a one-shot, but we didn't finish the story, and people voted to continue playing it. And so now that's the Thursday night game. And so this year, actually, we're doing In Memoriam again, and what this one is this is going to be the finale. This is going to be the grand finale of In Memoriam. We're gonna basically end the story at this point. Depending on how it plays out, the characters might still exist and we could return to them at some point, but we're putting it aside. And the online group stopped playing when we switched to Star Trek. The offline group will stop playing, and we'll be picking up a Paleomythic campaign that I designed after Extra Life this year. So
Nice.
yeah, so it is still like a one shot story. Like this story is going to be self contained in Extra Life, but it is part of a larger campaign that we've been playing for a few years now.
But you make a finite end to it. More is was what I was wondering about. It's not like so you've got to keep kind of people going along so that it's
Up until the last couple
24
years,
hours. You're not left.
up until the last couple of years, yeah. Like I said, 2
Like
years
tune
ago.
in next bat year, next bat.
Yeah. Yeah, 2 years ago. Yeah, every year prior to 2021, it was the whole story. When we ended Extra Life, that was the end of the story. But yeah, it was. But the last couple of years have been different, and I know the Star Trek one was supposed to be wrapped up in Extra Life. It was supposed to be fully self-contained, but I guess we didn't finish. But we didn't finish the story. We didn't actually get to the end of it. So, but I also Tripper was running that, and he had never designed a campaign to have a finite design like that before. So I think he had some trouble, making it work within that time frame. Which is, if it's the first time you're doing it, that happens.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, so I got a question for y'all because I told this to somebody at work and they looked at me weird.
Mm-hmm.
I went to a funeral for a church.
A funeral for a church?
Yeah, this is the last service of a church, and so they were having like a closing funeral for a church.
Okay.
And I never went to it before. Never going to go to it again because you can't go to it anymore.
Right.
Is it odd to have gone to it?
No.
I have never. I've never encountered that, but I mean,
that was a bucket list kind of item for me. It was like
I've been to one.
I guess
you've been to okay.
So nice. I mean, that's how Tim Carroll and I kind of met. Like, the church that I was going to was a sister church to the one that Tim and Carol were going to, and it closed. So we tried one of the other sister churches before we went to the one that they were going to at the time. So that's how we ended up meeting.
I mean, I know that a lot of churches, if they're closing, they have like a final service. I've never heard it called a funeral, or
I don't know my own interpretation of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. Now, I have been aware of churches that had a wedding, and that was, yeah.
Oh, where two of them merged together?
No. No, they did not actually merge together. These two churches decided that they were going to be in some kind of connection to each other, and they held a wedding for the two churches to be married to each other. And it was abundantly strange.
That's my next item on my bucket list now.
Well, and it's interesting because, like, we are part of a network of churches that do believe that churches have a covenant relationship to each other. But we don't think that covenant relationship looks like a marriage. It's like, it looks like, because we believe that membership in a church is a covenant. Like, you're entering into a body and being like, hey, we have responsibilities to this body, and the body has responsibilities to us, and we have responsibilities to the other members of the body. It's like that. And so, like, we view it like that. Like, the churches have the same kind of relationship that the members within the church have. But this church, these two churches near my hometown, and one of them was the sending church for the church plant that I grew up in. So we had a close connection with them. So that's how I was aware of it, was that we were in a close relationship with that church, but we weren't the one that married them. And, but that was
You didn't give him away.
no. But we but that was a very Pentecostal environment, so it's possible that if you want to experience one of those, you might have to look in that corner of the tent. But I guess this is just going to become an episode of Pineapple. But
I know
Does
where
appear
your
like
pig
it's gonna
farm.
happen.
what?
What?
You're next to my favorite little pig farm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right as you go up right across the border, there's like a little shack that has like sausages and pork.
Oh, okay. Cool. But yeah,
I forget what the name of it is, but they have like
that's fine. I wouldn't want to say
there's
the
like
name
a
of
Halloween.
I wouldn't want to say the name of it on stream anyway.
Yeah. I just remember it now. I got to go back up there because there is like some amazing meat.
Mm.
I can't believe how much good meat's out here. Like, I'm so happy. Like one of the things moving out, it was just like meat everywhere.
There is a lot. We were doing rabbit meat for a little while, but we haven't recently.
Ooh.
Soon
Soon we will get back into it.
we will get started again.
Are you growing your own rabbits to do that, or
We were,
Yeah.
We don't currently have any rabbits. There was a couple things that happened where we got out of it for a bit. But yeah, no, we were breeding and raising our own rabbits, and then we were getting them. We tried butchering them ourselves. We were having some difficulties with that. We sometimes went through a local butcher. There's only like one who will do it.
Right.
We just need a better setup.
Yeah, we need a better setup so we can do it. It's because of the weird. Rabbits fall into a weird legal area where because the USDA considers them poultry, and so they fall under. I guess it's because of their size and their use, but they fall under a different set of rules than other mammals do. And most of those rules are looser, so they're like you can get more places that will meet the criteria to butcher them, but Massachusetts law treats them. Their division isn't mammal and poultry. Their division is domestic versus wild game. And rabbits are considered wild game. And so, like, there's this whole other... So, like, there's these weird... So, like, it's the combination of the different rules ends up creating this thing where almost no one is going to bother doing it. And the few places that do, for the most part, require you to, like, Like, the one place we were talking to out in, I think, Deerfield or Sutherland or something... was they were exploring the idea of adding rabbit to their repertoire, but they were just like, you're gonna have to bring us like, what was it, like 100 or
At least 100.
at least
Yeah.
100 rabbits at a time for us to even consider it.
Yeah.
And it's like,
It's doable. I mean, we were up to 40 at one point, so we could get there, but it would be a pretty large operation.
but that scale, yeah.
Yeah.
So is that what the haberdashery came from?
No.
Nope.
Do you know what haberdashery means? Do you know what rabbit haberdashery?
I thought it was no. I thought I googled it when they were telling me about it, but apparently I don't remember enough to.
It's a haberdasher is a hat maker. So rabbit haberdashery is Mad Hattery.
Wonderful.
Dag nabbit, I was muted.
Well,
I was like, he's a Mad Hatter.
Yep.
And
Yeah, which is why we use like hats for when I do the rating, because I do game reviews. When I do the game reviews, I rate it out of 10 hats. And the logo for Rabbit Haberdashery has a hat on it. That's
That
why.
makes some sense.
Yeah.
Do you vote them as 10 of like the same top hats, or do you have 10 different kinds of hats?
They are actually they are 10 top hats on the stream, but when I was setting up to do Starfield, I was trying to stream direct through the Xbox, and so I knew I wasn't going to have my visual setup, all in place, where I have the, you know, images of the top hats, and so I did actually go up to my closet and grab 10 different hats. And I was just gonna be like, "Oh, it's these ones." Actually, I think the stack is still in the living room. I could go get it.
Yep.
But
It
it's I need to put those away. But like, but yeah. So for that one, I was going to do, you know, physical hats, and they would all be very different. But yeah, no, I normally it's top hats. There's just like icons for top hats that go in the sidebar. Which is fun. I've got it to the point now where everything that happens on this channel uses the same visual setup except for Two Brothers Gaming. Because for some reason, Eric does not want to use Streamlabs, and so I can't give him a show in Streamlabs that just has all the visual stuff set up for him. So he streams using a different program and has to do all his own setup, and so it looks different. But everything else uses this one. Now, you were asking about Extra Life. Are you interested in signing up for Extra Life, or you exploring that, or?
I was just looking into it from you guys.
Okay. Yeah,
when is that? So
we're doing our event. So game day is November 4th this year. It's basically always the first Saturday in November. Really, I think it's actually they've never said this, but in the 7 or 8 years that I've done it, every single year it has been on the Saturday when daylight savings happens. Whatever the fall one is, ending or beginning or whatever it is.
So what's going to happen after this year? They're not going to have it anymore?
That is a good point, because they got rid of daylight savings, didn't they? This year's the end.
Is that official?
I think
Is
so.
that official?
Yeah.
Unless they vote it out of the Senate or something.
No, I heard that they had passed it.
I heard the House passed it.
I thought I heard that they both had.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, the
Look,
Senate
bill
unanimously
approves it.
approved the bill. So yeah.
But it's gonna be permanently in daylight savings time instead of standard time, which is just stupid.
Man, I don't even care. Well,
so that means that world, when you cross into, you'll lose an hour.
So GMT is gonna be like, we're gonna be like GMT -4 permanently or something like that.
Are we? I thought we were going to be 5. But I know, well, because there's also a bill, like, if I remember correctly, every single New England state has a bill, like, kind of in the backwaters of their legislature that's just waiting for one of the states to do it, and then the other ones are all going to probably do it with them, where it would move all of New England to Atlantic time.
I can do that.
And because Eastern time is ridiculous that it goes from like the tip of Maine to Indiana. You know what I mean? That's all 1 hour.
Right.
And so I think each state legislature in New England has a bill that they are considering, that would move that state into Atlantic. And basically all of them are saying, if anyone else does it, we'll all do it. But no one is like willing to be the first.
Nobody's willing to go out and do it. Oh. Where's the leadership? Come on, New England.
I imagine it's going to end up being Massachusetts that does it, just because Massachusetts tends to be the first to do a lot of things. But yeah, then we would no longer be in Eastern time. We would be in Atlantic time.
I would prefer that.
I think it makes sense geographically. But yeah, I don't know which time this would put it. What that puts us in? Maybe it puts us in 4. I don't know. But
Eastern Standard Time is GMT -5, and then Eastern Daylight Time is GMT -4.
Okay.
So we're negative. We will be -5.
No, we'll be -4.
We'll be -4. Even better.
Yeah. Yeah. But But yeah, well, like I said, Extra Life has never said that that's the weekend that they do it. Like, I've never heard them say that. But it has always been that, in my experience, in the time that I've been doing it, which has been for about half of the time that it's existed. So I imagine what they'll end up doing, if there's no more daylight savings time to deal with, is just, first weekend in November and call it a day. But we'll see. We'll see what they announce. Oh, what weekend is that event? Wait. My pastor was asking me about possibly preaching while he's away at a conference, and if it's the same weekend,
be like, nope, sorry.
I don't know, because I did it last year.
You did do it last year.
I wasn't running game last year.
You weren't running game though. That is true.
But yeah,
I mean, we regularly take breaks to play other games, so we could very easily just.
That's true.
I've got a sermon on daylight savings time. If you're in a pinch.
Oh no, I have a message. I just don't know if I'm preaching it. But
I didn't say I had a message inside of it. It's just I have a.
Let me see here. It is that weekend.
Uh-oh.
Well, we'll see. He hasn't actually asked me to do it. He said he's because the conference end the last session of it is Sunday morning. So if they decide to stick around for that session, then he'll need somebody to preach for him. And so he was just kind of giving me a heads up that, hey, I might end up asking you to do this. Maybe start thinking about what you would preach if I do. And I was like, I already know what I would preach if I do. And he said, oh, okay. But yeah, it's that weekend. We'll make do. We'll figure it out. Mm-hmm. We'll do some other games that morning. I'll shave, a couple hours off the plan. It'll be fine. I didn't even think about that.
So what time are you doing? Like 9 to 9 or?
Yeah, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Service starts at 9.
You're not gonna get out of that one.
Service starts at 9, so I'll be getting home about 11 or so.
You talked about a crossover. This is one hell of a crossover. You could try it. You could try to incorporate the sermon into it and just be on your phone as you're going out. It could happen.
Start off the sermon by roll initiative.
Yeah.
Hold on, I need to do a wisdom check.
Did you see what I had posted
Good
in
dude.
shit posting, by the way, before the whole sermon thing?
No, I haven't. Well, I don't. I have, because I only have 2 monitors right now.
Oh.
I don't have the. Oh no! What the heck? There we go.
It's a keychain that says Jesus saves all others, take half damage.
Wait, I like that. Well, what's the part that you blocked, or they got blocked out? Did you block
I
out?
don't know. I'm guessing it's
Okay.
the D&D logo because they're not licensed to actually use it.
Okay.
I just noticed that, and I was trying to look up the pictures, and they're all like blocked out. So I think it's the D&D logo.
Oh my goodness, I love it. I'm on a shirt. Everyone else takes half damage. I'm gonna have to find a shirt for that. I don't know if I'll be allowed to wear that in my church though.
I'm thinking no. Just I'll go out on a limb here.
The voice of reason.
I used to wear the World of Warcraft shirt that said "Resurrect Now" on it
Oh my goodness.
to church. And it was my Easter shirt.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I got one that just says I'm on a mission from God, which obviously is a reference to Blues Brothers, but also I'm a church planter, and so I'm on a mission from God, and so I wore that to church, and a couple other people were just like, "Where did you get that shirt? I want that shirt." And so there's like 3 or 4 of us now at the church that. So, yeah, we've been doing that. But yeah, no, I'll have to make adjustments if he asks me to preach that Sunday, because I'm not gonna turn it down. I love doing it, and it's important to me, and yeah, we'll just figure something out for that Sunday. It'll be on Ezra 1.
So you got to the plan though, because that's not a lot of time to get your to get a good sermon up. Or like it is good, of course, but it's not 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
I've never taken 3 weeks lead time on a sermon to work on a sermon. I usually work on it that week leading up to it.
Okay.
But I have had a couple where I end up scrapping the whole sermon and rewriting it on Saturday night.
Just
yeah, this isn't working. This clearly isn't the message that I have for this morning. Get rid of it. Write a new one. Saturday night.
Did you do the music selection also and all that, or
no?
Only...
No,
okay.
I haven't been part of a church where that's part of. I mean, is like there's a scripture reading that I would pick, and I do a benediction, and the last couple of churches that I've preached at have been like that, where I would say, okay, here's what this scripture reading is going to be, and I would also write a benediction as part of my sermon, or to go with my sermon or whatever. But yeah, that I end up just taking one of the verses that, like, because I'll have like a list of here are relevant passages that I might cite in the message, and what I usually end up doing is taking one of those that I didn't actually use in the message and put that as a scripture reading. So it's thematically appropriate.
Yeah.
But yeah. But no, I don't pick the music. I do know what the music is going to be though. I could look and see what the music's going to be, because it's that is planned out in advance, but it's planned out separately. Actually, I play bass in the band, so I have it right here. I also have my bass here, so I can.
Wait, so you play the bass? Like, do you have the bass with you while you're at the pupil or pupit?
No, I don't. It is on the stage, but the first few weeks the first few times that I preached here, I didn't play bass that morning because I just didn't want to be on the stage the whole service, draw too much attention to myself. But I felt that was inappropriate. But then, yeah, we were just like, it doesn't hurt nothing. Just go ahead and play. So I've started playing more. But yeah, so I end up playing. I did reference my bass one time though because of a sticker on it. I have actually a sticker of this right here. This that lady, that self-portrait up there of the girl. What she's pointing at in her hand is a Furby. And what is that noise? Is anybody else hearing that?
Somebody's microphone. Picking up all kinds of weird.
I'm hearing something. Yeah.
Weird.
Dave. You're back, Dave. Good to see you.
But the painting is a joke. It was meant to be a. She was interested in why we stopped doing memento moris in paintings, and she was like, "What's a modern symbol of death that works better for like millennials than a skull does?" And she decided that a Furby was it. And so when I contributed to the Kickstarter to make those prints. I got the print, and I got a sticker of just a holographic sticker of just the Furby. I'm gonna set that right there for now. It's fun, but I was referencing memento moris, and so I pointed out that that's what the Furby was. A very happy sermon starts out with talking about medieval symbols of death. But yeah, you mentioned about for Extra Life paying or something. And that's basically how I've tied our game into one of the ways that I've helped tie our game into Extra Life and kind of recruit people for it is I've told people, if you want to participate in the campaign that I'm doing for Extra Life, you either have to have a donation page active or you have to make a donation.
Or you can do both.
But the requirement is that you do at least one of those two in order to be able to play the game that I'm hosting. And so it was, so that was part of how it was working for a long time. And it still is. Like we still require that. But I don't have to be strict about it because basically everybody in Rabbit Haberdashery does that, except and Tripper never sets up donation pages. He always just pays. But most other people just set up a donation page right at the beginning of the year and call it a day.
Now the question is does donating to Tim to review a video game count as a donation towards Extra Life? Not
Yeah.
that. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not like a set thing for that. It's just, if you have to participate in the fundraising effort somehow. And so you can either do that by fundraising, or by helping someone else in the team that is fundraising.
Well, there you go. If you have a game that you want Tim to review,
yeah, check out my page, and then that could potentially qualify you to play the game that we do on Extra Life on game day.
and before you hopped on Tango, I said that if you donate to my page, I am matching up to the first $500.
Now, is that you matching, or is that getting matched? You have like a sponsor that we don't know.
No, I will personally match the first $500.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Of fundraising.
Pulling out my base reminded me that this one screw is loose, and so I'm gonna fix that while we're talking. But we're getting real close to the end, though, for In Memoriam. Like, we just have the offline group has, because this Sunday we're doing Paleomythic instead of In Memoriam, and then the next session we meet we'll do In Memoriam, and then that's it, because it'll then be Extra Life, and then that'll be the end of that campaign. People were telling me last session that they really enjoyed it, which was very encouraging to hear.
So, with In Memoriam, we're doing the Mount Doom storyline.
Well, we did Mount Doom already.
Okay, so this is going to be another crossover then?
Yes. This will be another
Okay.
crossover that follows after the events of Mount Doom.
Okay, and it'll be our mains? Or is it going to be the characters from the Mount Doom?
Yes. Any character that... Yeah. You can play both or either, basically.
Okay. Except for Matt, because Matt's character retired.
Yeah, so Matt's character retired, so he's gonna have to either replace. Well, no, because he introduced his new character already, so he'll probably.
Did he?
Yep.
Oh, I forgot that he did.
Yeah, the last session that the online group ever played, he introduced his new character. So he'll have the option to play that character, or the one that he played for Mount Doom. Tripper's character for Mount Doom died in Mount Doom, so he can opt whether or not to create a second character to play. Chris's character for Mount Doom died, and he wants to retire his main character, so he's probably gonna have to make a new character. Like, I don't see how else he's gonna participate. So,
Well then.
but yeah, he's retiring Gina.
Why? He was getting sick of carrying us all?
Yeah, I know that it's basically just that he's decided that he's gotten what he wants out of the character and he wants to move on and try something different. He didn't tell me why that was, if there was anything that prompted that.
Man, I haven't set my cult after anybody yet.
That's true.
I should just be a traitor to all of you.
It is what everyone has been expecting the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be right back.
Which is funny because my character has been more of the conscience of the group since hanging out with Carol's character.
Yeah, your character has been like exceptionally well behaved, and no one seems willing to like buy that.
Nope.
It's all an act.
They're just waiting for you to prove that it was just a scheme. It's like, why? Like,
I don't know.
well, I mean, I think that there's some metagaming going on with that, but yeah, I guess, and some of it is just because your character does have the backstory that he does have, but it's like, okay, but
my
like,
character was put to death.
yes, allegedly.
Allegedly.
My video
Yes.
froze.
Oh. Yeah, Dee's character. Oh, there he is. Dave's character was arrested and found guilty of some pretty heinous crimes and put on death row and officially was executed. But
I mean, he was
How was he?
I did not hear most of that. What was that?
Oh.
Did we lose
Chris or Tango is experiencing technical difficulties.
Tango?
Oh, it's-
Ugh. Yeah. Oh, there he is.
Hello again. So, how was he executed?
Well, okay.
He was a terrorist.
No, that's why though.
So it was Texas. So
Yeah.
they said that they put him in the chair, but they actually shipped him off to a facility where he was experimented on. As part of a government experiment,
In which he got his superpowers.
which is where he got his superpowers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so all of the characters from the initial batch of Extra Life, or from In Memoriam, all of the characters that were initially part of it were part of a government experiment to try to give people superpowers. But they didn't know that at first. Because part of the process for making someone have these superpowers caused them to lose their memory. So amnesia is a side effect of the procedure.
So yeah, my character he inspired a cult.
Appreciate that.
He's a conspiracy theorist. He's super paranoid.
Yep. And so when he woke up, he had paranoia still, and one of the side effects, one of the ways that the characters had, because one of the objectives of the campaign was to figure out what their deal was, figure out their backstory, where they came from, how they got powers, what that has to do with the state of the world and everything, and hopefully figure out their own identities. And is this a? And so, yeah, this is a decal.
My character kind of abandoned that pursuit because he didn't like what he heard, so he was
Yeah.
like, nope.
Yeah, he learned some stuff about himself that he didn't really want to know, and stopped trying to learn more about himself. But in the process of all that, yeah, he part of what he learned was that he was tried and found guilty as a domestic terrorist, and accidentally inspired a cult. But like he had the paranoia, and one of the tools they had for figuring out their past was dreams. they would have dreams that were sometimes memories and sometimes weren't. And he had a dream about aliens,
Lizard men.
lizard men. He had a dream about lizard men, part of the lizard man conspiracy, and so he became super paranoid about lizard men showing up and becoming a threat, and then met some people who looked like those lizard men, or that he interpreted as looking like those lizard men.
So you were from Florida? No, just kidding. Oh, you said Texas.
Yeah. He was. I don't remember if he lived in Texas or if he just did his crimes in Texas.
I was trying to destroy some federal building in Texas
Yeah.
where I got caught.
Yeah. So that was. It was in Texas where he was doing his last big thing of his last big attack that he got caught on. Right, which is where he got caught.
We never fully established where he was from.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we didn't, did we?
Nope. And we never will.
Nope.
Dun 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 dun.
So. Yeah, that. Yeah. So, but a lot of the characters started just kind of. So the online group didn't really trust each other from the beginning. They
know each other?
Well, they all woke up with amnesia. They had no idea if they knew each other.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
But they did know that when they, they kind of woke up together and had no idea what was going on, and no idea who each other was or who they were, and so they started adventuring together, just kind of to figure, because they were the only people that they knew was each other, and they barely knew each other at all. And so they had to kind of figure out how much they were going to share with one another right off the bat.
Which is nothing.
Which, for the online group, was nothing. They didn't tell each other their dreams. They didn't tell each other what was going on, what they learned about themselves. Nothing. Actively tried to hide stuff from each other. The offline group, though, was just like, oh yeah, here's everything I know about me, like to each other all the time, and working together and coming up with plans and stuff, and like their world is actively like nicer because of them.
Our group was called the Headhunters.
Yeah. Yeah.
We would behead criminals and then try to sell them in towns. Be like, hey, do you guys pay bounties? And pull out.
How about this one? How about that one?
But yeah, so they but it's interesting because like I wrote all these different backstories, and some of them were dark and some of them weren't. And as it happens, Dave picked a character whose backstory was a bit dark, and so everyone was just like, absolutely cannot trust this guy. You know, he's got this backstory and everything, but like, I don't think he was a whole lot worse than like.
Well, you had Tripper, and then you also had Amanda. Like, so Eric's character was Amanda, who threw Tripper's dead ex-wife into space, into the sun.
Yeah.
Who basically, she has the power of regeneration, so she can't be killed.
Well, she could be uncomfortable.
Yeah, well, that was part of the moral issue there.
Yeah, and
touched
Tripper
on the moral quandary of that decision.
Yeah, Tripper murdered his wife. So
she did not come back.
But
I don't remember how much you guys knew about that and how much you didn't. so I don't want to comment on it. But
We just know that Tripper murdered his wife, and that's about it.
Okay.
Because he wouldn't talk about it.
Yeah.
Because that's why we found that out, and then he stormed off, and then started doing those dimensional jumps.
Right.
So the fight against his ex-wife was interesting because we thought that we killed her, and then she came back to life. So then we knocked her out again, and then I made some kind of some sort of like
Torture
contraption. It was basically
box.
a torture device. It was a murder box that it kept her bound, and anytime that she would stir, it would basically cut off her head or kill her.
Yeah. It would
And
just
then
kill her, and then when she came back, it would kill her again. It was just constant.
And then Amanda just was like, "Enough of this," and then just threw her out into space towards the sun.
Yeah. And I explained this in the offline group when we were talking about it. We'll never get to the point where you guys learn this, but he missed. I actually did at the time when he threw her into space. He was aiming for the sun. He was trying to throw her into the sun, and so at that time I rolled to see if he threw her accurately at the sun in such a way that she would actually hit the sun, and the answer was no. And then I rolled to see whether or not the throw would end up bringing her back into Earth's atmosphere, and the answer was yes.
Oh.
And so I was counting down the time to when she was going to show back up in the setting. And we didn't get there.
Which is kind of sad.
Yeah. That would have been hilarious. Oh my goodness, I was looking forward to that.
I mean, she could just show up as a guest during Extra
During
Life.
Extra Life.
That would be hilarious. She'd be nice and toasty.
She would. She'd be crashing. She'd have to go through re-entry and crash.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. My Extra Life sticker doesn't fit on the base.
Oh no.
Right?
Oh well.
Which one did you were you trying to put on?
I mean, I can put it on the back, but
Is that the 20th anniversary one, or
well, 20th anniversary would be in 5 years.
or the 15th?
We got this year, yeah, didn't we? Was it last year, hun?
What?
Did we get this Extra Life sticker this year or last year?
I think it was last year.
Okay. I had one on my truck, but I don't have my truck anymore, and I have this one because Carol didn't want hers, so I ended up with both of them. Although I suppose if you want it back, you're welcome to do so.
What?
I suppose if you want yours back, you can have it. But
No,
if
that's
not,
okay.
I'll probably end up sticking it on my next vehicle when I get one.
So the truck died? I meant to ask.
Yeah, engine's shot. So I sold it to a junkyard. $200. They came and picked it up. So we're down to one vehicle. I'm borrowing a car from my pastor right now. My pastor's wife, her car, because they don't use it this time of year.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm borrowing it for right now, but I'm gonna have to come up with a more permanent solution soon.
Man, your truck should have died like a month ago.
Why?
Because I would have sold you my Mazda.
Oh, it did. Well, it died in July.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I could have sold you the Mazda.
Oh well. Yeah, we had someone at church that was offering to sell us a Bronco. I gotta see if we can swing it.
Thought it was an Explorer.
It is an Explorer. We had someone at church that's offering to sell us an Explorer.
What year?
I don't know.
I think it was a 2009.
Okay.
Sure.
I will tell you that the Explorers are notorious for rusting.
I mean, I hear that about basically all the Fords.
That is true.
Yeah. Ford Russ. I guess. But man, whatever. I can live with that. I doubt it's going to be worse than my what's it call it? My Nissan truck that snapped in half while I was driving it.
No
Well, that's a
kidding.
Nissan, so
Yeah.
Like both sides or just one?
Oh yeah, no, both. It was
the Nissan Frontier.
no, it was
It did
Oh.
one of those at the bed.
Oh, my
yeah, where the
God.
bed meets the cab. Yeah, no, it was Nissan pickup.
Oh, okay.
It was like a 1980s some odd model year, and it's
Oh, so it was their old. It was their 4-cylinder small truck then.
yeah,
Like the
Yeah,
size
it's
of
tiny.
the S10. Yeah.
yeah, and yeah, its actual name on the title was pickup. It was Nissan pickup, and
So
yeah.
I guess I'm driving you guys around for picking up stuff for Extra Life then, huh?
Oh, maybe yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I was on a pizza delivery. And I was driving along, and all of a sudden, I'm just driving up, and I was like this. Heard a loud crack, and I'm facing upward. So I pulled over, and I got out and I looked, and yeah, the frame on both sides had snapped. So I strung it back together with some zip ties and used some electrical tape to close up the part of the fuel line that got cut by the frame when it snapped, and then I finished the shift. I finished that delivery. Finished to have more deliveries. Had to replace.
But you said 4 deliveries?
Yeah, I did some more deliveries that shift. I had to replace the zip ties a couple times, and then over that weekend sold it to a dude as a farm truck. I told him like this is what's going on with it. I can't honestly recommend buying it, but he was like, I'm just gonna use it beat around the field anyway. I was like, hey, you have the information. Yeah, you have the information. I've done my part. If you want to pay, $300 to take that, fine. And so, I sold it to him. That was
I
it.
did ask when we got rid of our. I had a Volvo like 850. That's and it wasn't just like replace the cable because I replaced it and like the entire apparatus was broken on the gas and I'd put down the gas and it would just not stop.
Oh goodness.
And so it would just like go, 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 which is scary as hell when I was trying to teach my kid how to drive. That didn't work too well. But I found out, I was like, just somebody give me an offer, come take it up. And like I sold it for $400. I was like, okay, just be brutally honest with me. How much money are you gonna make off this car that I'm selling you for $400?
Yeah.
He's like, well, I'm gonna go cut the catalytic converter. That's gonna be the $400 I paid you. Then everything else is profit.
Yeah.
I was like, that is a great business because every car I have, I drive to the ground. And I know that you're making money off it after I'm happy.
Yeah.
I think every car I've sold is like, Ben, I wouldn't really drive this too far.
Well, I partly because of, but when I was a pizza delivery driver, I would go through a car a year, and something like 70% of them was I blew the engine. Was what ended up happening. Was that I blew the engine? Was what ended up happening to them. I would run them until they just the engine blew, and that was. And it was one of those things. This was some of this happened before the cash for clunkers thing just bottomed out that market. But I would just buy like a car for $500 off of somebody off the side of the road or in a field or whatever.
Yep.
Run it for about a year, delivering pizzas. It would die. I would pick up a new one, and then because I bought a new vehicle every year and I was a delivery driver, I would write off the vehicle on my taxes as a work car. And that was
Fully deductible. You
Yeah.
know, appreciated in 1 year.
Yep. So about every year I would write off a vehicle. And
I wish I could buy a car for $500 right now.
Mm-hmm.
oh my god, that'd be so great. And I mean, some of it was poor maintenance, I'll admit. I've had to learn how to maintain my vehicles better than now that I can't just do that. But yeah. But I mean,
My sister's comment was, "You mean you have to put water in the engine?"
yeah.
My dad was just like, "Yes."
Yeah, I mean, I would try to take care of them, and they do last a lot longer now that I'm not a delivery driver. But yeah, it's doing pizza delivery is a lot of really hard miles, really
Yeah.
fast, and so it wasn't worth it to invest in anything better than that. So, yeah.
Now there's no delivery drivers out here. Probably closer to where you guys are, but I swear I want to get like an Uber. It's like $150.
Yeah, we there's one place that delivers to us, unless we go through Uber Eats or Grubhub.
I don't think there's anything on Uber Eats either.
No, it's not Uber Eats. It's the other one.
It's DoorDash.
DoorDash. There's a couple places that will deliver to us through DoorDash, and a couple places that will deliver to us through Grubhub. But if you want to,
They won't even do groceries here. Like that they used to do the 99 to deliver food. But now you can at least go pick it up. I'm like, why am I paying you $2 to get me some popsicles and a dreamsicle? I could just go in there and get that same stuff myself.
We can actually get groceries delivered here. We can actually get groceries delivered here from exactly one grocery store. But that's it. Yeah, no, we don't have many options. But delivery driving just isn't as good out here. Like, I haven't done it here. I've done it a couple other places in Massachusetts. I did it in Amherst and I did it in Turners Falls. Worked as a delivery driver at some shops. And it wasn't as good. Like, back in PA where I was living, where I grew up and lived into my mid-20s, I'd make an average of $15 an hour at a time when minimum wage was $6.25. And my rent, like the apartment that I lived in, the total rent was $300 a month. And I had a roommate or two and stuff like that. And so like I'd work a 12-hour shift on a Friday, get paid under the table, pay off my rent for the month and be done. You know what I mean? I was making bank. But then part of the issue I think is, especially when I was in Amherst, there's the 5 colleges nearby and there's the 3 colleges in Amherst, there's all this stuff. So there's a lot of turnover of young people just looking for hours, part-time work. And so they can treat you like crap because if you don't like it and you leave, they'll hire somebody else in 10 minutes.
Yeah, you got the next person's walking in.
Yeah. So they don't care. They don't care about you. They don't care if you're making money or not. They can, as much money as they can get out of you, they're going to, because if it doesn't matter. There's no consequences. Back home, it was a depressed area. We've been my hometown's been in a recession since Reagan. So like, because the steel mills all left and everything's just kind of falling apart, and so like if they treat you badly and you leave, they can replace you a few times, and then that's it. They've run out of people to hire. You're done. You've hired everybody that's willing to work in this field, and chase them all out. So they don't. I don't know how much that thought process actually applied to how they were. I don't know how much they actually thought that through, but like I feel like that's part of the reason that it was a very different environment.
Different age, also.
Yeah, I mean it's some of these were pretty close to each other time wise, so.
I remember way back when, like in the '90s, late '90s, the thought of food delivery was like brand new to me. And I lived on Key West, and it was like a 4x2 island, so it was like scooter delivery everywhere. Like,
Yeah.
it was like one or two shops, but they just did like they would drive, pick up, like before Uber Eats and all that stuff. We were getting that delivered, like it was getting milkshakes and like they'd make the food. If they couldn't make it, they'd go get the food and bring it to you.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a genius idea. If only you could do this nationwide before the internet took off. And then some genius took that idea. Damn them.
Yeah. It was fun because like the main pizza shop that I worked, cause I did a few, but the main pizza shop I worked at back home had it was pretty rural, and so our regulars were people who lived out in the sticks somewhere, a lot of them, and so out on a farm somewhere or whatever, and so we would pick stuff up for them. Like they'd call and be like, hey, they'd place their order, but then they'd be like, could you also stop and get me like a gallon of milk and a pack of Marlboro Reds or whatever? And we would just, all right, yeah, sure, and we'd do that. We had for a while we actually had we tried to get a partnership with the local movie rental place, and so that we could do like set up a pizza and a movie bundle, and the movie place wouldn't go for it, and so the owners of our shop just like went through the legal stuff to become a video rental place. And so like we just had like you walk into our pizza shop and there's a dining area, but then there's all these movies on the wall. And so people would order and we would deliver like a VHS tape and a pizza and a drink.
Do they get to choose a tape or is it just whatever
Yeah.
you picked?
Yeah. They'd ask for a specific movie, and if we had it, we'd be like, "Hey, we got that," and then we'd set them up with we'd send in the computer system. Yeah, they rented it, and we'd take it to them, and then like on a future delivery, we'd go and pick it up again.
There you go, crossovers.
And it was
It's like, oh, you want a large pepperoni? Hey, you still got Twin Peaks.
It was. I mean, this was obviously before Netflix killed that industry, but like, it was a pretty sweet little gig. A lot of places were switching over to DVDs by that point, and so we were unusual in that we didn't have any DVDs. But they refused to invest in it. They were just like, we're not investing in DVDs because like
who's going to invest in a DVD player?
Well, it was actually more like they were concerned about the DVD because it's easier to damage a DVD than it is a VHS. And so the whole idea of us delivering it and then it sitting at somebody's house for an unknown period of time with the pizza and the pizza box and the heat and everything, they were just like, we're gonna see a lot more damage.
It's good enough.
Yeah, they're gonna get too damaged too quickly. We'll just do VHS. They're hardier. And they did. Obviously, they don't do that anymore, but there was a couple of years where that was part of our business model. But yeah, it was good. I've started telling delivery driver stories on my TikTok too. That's fun. Because the thing that I think people don't realize is like when you're a cashier or a waiter or something like that, like cashiers and waiters have all these crazy stories about these ridiculous people that come into the store. And like they're hilarious, ridiculous stories about these people. But the thing I don't think people always think through is that these people know that they're in public and are behaving. Like, they think that they're behaving because they're in public. Like, the crazy, ridiculous things that they're doing, they know that they're doing where people can see them and where they will be held accountable. When you're a delivery driver, you're going to their house. Like, you're seeing them in their environment. And some of those people get way worse. So.
Man, my first job was at a Christian bookstore, and some of the people that would shop there.
Oh, I'm sure.
We caught people shoplifting, and they would just steal stupid things too, like Sunday school pencils
Mm-hmm.
that cost $0.25, and you'd see them stuffing them into their bags, and it's just like, I'm not gonna say anything because it's not even worth the time.
Should I put that on your tab?
Oh,
I've had people try to people try to get me to give them their food for free. Many times.
and then they would like there was one time where like the bookstore was like right across the street from a bank, and the people, they opened up a bank account at that bank, walked across the street, bought $300 worth of Bibles on starter checks, walked back across the street, and then canceled their bank account.
Goodness.
My goodness. What? Ugh.
Desperate times.
Yep.
And then, like, God forbid, like, if you didn't have like the latest like album, I can't even remember the guy's name, but like if we didn't have that new album, they would start yelling at you.
Oh, man. Yeah. I had some people, that would yell at us or whatever, but it was mostly just weird stuff going to people's houses. I mean, there were people that definitely I am 100% convinced would have stolen from me if I just stolen their food if I ever let them, if I ever handed them anything before collecting money, which I never did. I always collected money first, but there were people who tried to get out of it. But there was, there were people who would threaten you, and delivery drivers are, I think they're in the top 10 occupations for getting killed on the job. Yeah, I don't remember what the actual.
So too dangerous.
Yeah.
So I would never want to be a delivery driver, but my whole thing was it's a Christian bookstore. These people shouldn't be acting that way.
Yeah, delivery drivers are 7th. This article is November 5th, 2020, and so the numbers can shift up and down a little bit, but they're pretty consistent year to year. Logging workers, then aircraft pilots and flight engineers, then derrick operators in oil, gas, and mining, then roofers, then garbage collectors, iron workers, delivery drivers, farmers, firefighting supervisors, and power linemen are the top 10. And yeah, the folks that people tend to think, police officers, people tend to think of as being the most dangerous job, they rank 22nd. So yeah, so it's one of those things where I was out on delivery one day. I don't know if you guys heard about this. In Erie, PA, back in I don't know, 05 or something. A delivery driver got kidnapped on a delivery. He got called into an abandoned building, got kidnapped, and they strapped like a bomb around his neck and made him go rob a bank. And the police showed up while he was still there, and so he didn't. They didn't get away, and then they ended up detonating the bomb, and it was bad. I was on a delivery when my mom called me about that. She was like, "Are you safe?" I was like, "What are you on about? I'm at work. Like, what do you mean, am I safe? What's that? I don't know what's going on in the world." And yeah, it was because she was watching the news with that guy on it. And but yeah, so you get people threatening you, you get people trying to rob you, but then you also just get weirdness. Like, anytime we delivered to someone who sold drugs, they would try to sell us drugs, and I didn't participate, but I know.
But they're probably trying to break even.
Yeah, they're probably trying to break even, and I mean, there were a couple drivers that I'm pretty sure were buying off of these guys. I wasn't. I didn't pay for drugs, and yeah, you get into you just kind of show up and people would be in weird situations or whatever, or people would just be weird. And there was one that was amusing to me where it was I heard a noise and I looked out to see what the noise was, and there was a dog running line, but what was on the leash was a goat, and I was like, and I'm looking at this goat, and the person opens the door and sees me and looks over and goes, "Oh, I forgot I let him out." And I was thinking, is he a house goat? Like, is this? Is that goat housebroken? Is that what you're telling me right now?
My wife had goats when she was a kid, but I would hire a goat if somebody had a goat. Come by here and eat some of these poison ivy. I heard they can eat poison ivy.
We want to get goats. Yeah, we want to get goats. We'll be sure to let you know if and when we do.
Goat hair, Angora sweaters. You guys are gonna be like,
we don't raise Angora bunnies.
No, yeah, they're American chinchilla bunnies that we were raising.
Chinchilla?
American chinchilla, yeah. They're big, so they're large. They're good for meat because they're large. But their fur is also really nice. It's like a really kind of plush gray, bluish gray.
It's super soft.
And it's very soft, and and because they get to be large rabbits, you can get a decent amount of fur off of them. We actually have a freezer full of fur we need to do something with.
Yep.
Oh, and
I wanted to learn how to tan it.
Yeah. And I have... Are they here? I don't know where I put them. I have some rabbit's feet that I had dried and set aside to make, into keychains. Huh? I don't know where I put them. They're around here somewhere. Yeah. They're in here.
All right, it's my bedtime.
Yeah, we should probably wrap up.
Yep.
All right. Well, anyway, yeah. So thanks for joining us for what ended up becoming an episode of Pineapple. Don't forget to check out our Extra Life Game Day. Check out some of the other stuff we have going on. So later this week, I don't know if I'm going to do a review tomorrow or not because I have some errands I need to run, and so I might not end up having time. But Wednesday is Two Brothers Gaming. Thursday is Star Trek. Sunday, we're going to be doing our Paleo Mythic planning session, getting together and figuring out that campaign, and we will be deciding at that time whether or not we're going to stream it. So I don't know whether or not we'll be streaming Sunday, but if we are, keep an eye out for that. And yeah, and then next week hopefully we'll have Matt, and maybe we'll even play Pathfinder. Admittedly, I didn't remember where we left off anyway, and I forgot to check. So
that's all right. I put it into the Discord for us so we can remember it.
Nice. All right. So yeah, but and like we said, November 4th and 5th, Extra Life. Join us for In Memoriam as we wrap up that story and help us help kids by donating through our Extra Life donation page listed right there. Thank you very much, and I'll go ahead and do the closing credits anyway, even though we're not, even though we didn't do this show. Whatever, who cares? Good night.
Good night, folks.